Welcome, friend. Tonight, we will walk through moments where God showed his faithfulness, even when fear and uncertainty surrounded his people. Breathe slowly, rest deeply. Let us begin. Long ago, during a severe drought, the prophet Elijah traveled to a small village called Zarephath. The land was dry. The crops had withered. Hope felt distant. As Elijah reached the village gate, he saw a widow gathering sticks. Her face looked weary, the kind of tiredness that comes from carrying too many burdens for too long. Elijah approached her gently and said, "Please, bring me a little water and a piece of bread." The woman lowered her eyes and whispered, "I have only a handful of flour and a little oil. I am preparing the last of it for myself and my son, and then we will have nothing." Elijah's voice was soft, steady, reassuring. "Do not be afraid," he said. "Make a small loaf for me first, and then for yourself and your son. For the Lord has promised that your jar of flour will not be used up, and your jug of oil will not run dry." The widow hesitated, then slowly nodded. She went home, lit her small fire, and prepared the bread. And when she reached for the jar of flour, there was more. When she tilted the jug of oil, it flowed again, day after day. The flour remained. The oil never ran out. In the midst of hopelessness, God provided, quietly, faithfully, just enough for each day. Let's continue with Daniel's story. There was once a man named Daniel, faithful, steady, unwavering in prayer. Because of his devotion, jealous men sought to destroy him. They convinced the king to pass a law. No one could pray to anyone but the king himself. Daniel heard the decree. He understood the danger, and yet he opened his windows, knelt down, and prayed to God, just as he always had. The jealous men barged in and arrested him. Daniel was taken to a deep pit, filled with lions. The king, though tricked by his advisors, could not change the law. With sadness in his voice, he said, "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." The stone was rolled over the entrance. Night fell. The lions paced in the darkness. But God was present. He sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and Daniel slept safely among them. At dawn, the king rushed to the den. His voice trembled. "Daniel, has your God rescued you?" A gentle voice rose from the shadows. "My God sent his angel, and I am unharmed." In the deepest pit, surrounded by fear, God remained faithful. Now let's proceed with David versus Goliath. The Philistine army stood against Israel, and fear filled the camp. Every day, a giant named Goliath stepped forward, mocking God's people. But a young shepherd named David believed something different. He believed that God was bigger than the giant. With nothing but a sling and a stone, David declared, "The battle belongs to the Lord." And with one simple throw, the giant fell. This story reminds us that no matter how impossible our situation looks, God can use ordinary people to win extraordinary battles. Let's end the night with Moses splitting the Red Sea. The night was heavy with fear. Behind the people of Israel, dust rose into the sky as Pharaoh's army thundered across the desert. Chariots clattered, horses roared, and the cries of Egyptian soldiers echoed through the wind. and before the Israelites stretched the dark, endless waters of the Red Sea. After centuries of slavery, they had finally tasted freedom. God had led them out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Plagues, miracles, wonders beyond imagination. But now they were trapped, surrounded by danger on every side. Some cried out in panic. Some complained in fear. Some asked Moses, "Why did you bring us out here to die? It would have been better for us to stay in Egypt." In their terror, they forgot the miracles they had already witnessed. Moses stood among them, but he too could hear the distant rumble of approaching chariots. He could feel the fear spreading like wildfire through the crowd. Still, he lifted his voice and spoke words of courage that carried across the sea breeze. "Do not be afraid. Stand firm. You will see the salvation of the Lord today." In that moment, something changed. The cloud of God's presence, the same cloud that had led them by day, moved behind the people, placing itself between Israel and Egypt. To the Egyptians, it became a thick, impenetrable darkness. But to the Israelites, it glowed with light, a silent reminder that God was still with them. Then God spoke to Moses, "Raise your staff, stretch out your hand over the sea." Moses obeyed. As he lifted the staff high above the waters, a mighty wind began to blow from the east. It started as a whisper, then grew into a powerful force that roared across the waves. The sea trembled. The waters pulled back. Walls of water rose on either side, towering like massive cliffs of shimmering blue, held in place by the hand of God. Where moments before there had been only impossible depths, now a dry path stretched across the seafloor, wide enough for an entire nation to walk through. Torchlight flickered against the walls of water. Children clutched their parents' hands. Animals brayed nervously. But step by step, with the wind still swirling around them, the people moved forward under the shelter of God's miracle. All through the night, they walked, surrounded by the impossible, guided by the presence of the one who had promised to deliver them. When the Egyptians saw the path through the sea, they charged after Israel with renewed determination. Chariots rattled across the exposed ground, soldiers shouting as they drew closer. But as the last Israelite stepped onto the far shore, God spoke again. "Stretch out your hand over the sea." Moses did, and the moment his arm lifted, the towering walls of water collapsed. The sea rushed back to its place with a thunderous roar. The chariots, the horses, the soldiers, all were swept away beneath the waves. Not one survived. As the sun rose, its light shimmered across the calm surface of the water. The danger was gone. The past that had pursued them so fiercely had been buried beneath the sea. The people stood on the shore in awe. They had witnessed a miracle unlike anything the world had ever seen. And in that moment, they knew the God who delivered them from Egypt, the God who divided the sea, the God who fought their battles, was faithful, powerful, and present. Then Moses and the people lifted their voices in praise, singing, "The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation." The story of the Red Sea reminds us that when life presses us between fear and the unknown, God can make a way where there is no way. He can turn oceans into pathways, impossibilities into testimonies, and fear into faith. When we trust Him, the waters part.